So right before Christmas, I went to get a can of spray paint at Ace Hardware, and the guys was like, "Hey, we got this Milwaukee drill driver set for $70, 2 batteries, charger." I've been thinking about trying to get a little smaller, lightweight. All my tools are the big 18-volt heavy, tools. Sometimes you just need something small to get in the little spot. So I grabbed that little $70 or $69 set, went up to the register, and the guy in line was like, "Yeah, man, I got the Surge." So now, I was going for the smaller M12 series just because I wanted smaller tools, but then, I'm getting tool shamed for getting the cheap one. So I went and got a couple more M12 drivers. I figured, what the heck, since I got the batteries and charger, I might as well. I got multi-tool, got sanders, I don't even know what all I got over here. I ended up just got a whole bunch of stuff. But if you're like me, I don't know what the difference is. You go to Milwaukee's page, there's like 15 M12 drivers. Well, I wanted to find out, was there really a reason to spend $200 on a tool, bare tool, or a driver and a drill for $70 that'll work just as good? I tell you, I'm surprised at the results, and I called Milwaukee up, talked with them, and they were surprised with the results also. I went and bought 20 pounds of 3-inch screws, and I installed 3-inch screws into this 3-inch pieces of board here. So all the drivers, even the cheapest one, drove 3-inch screws. So there's not a lacking of power. I did find some differences. The Surge started out a lot nicer, a lot smoother, seemed like it had more power, but at the same time, when you were going into a 3-inch screw, this is what the small M12s are for, is for the smaller bolts. I think that the 3-inch screw is about the max you want to go. I got the little installation tool because that's unique. It's got the 90 built in on it. You got all the different attachments, but I wanted to see how well it did also. Now it drove in, but if you see, like on this row here, they start getting to where they're not quite all the way buried. So as this one started kind of getting the battery started wearing down, it didn't quite countersink the heads. But again, this is an installation tool, really not made to be sinking 3-inch screws, but it did. I'm gonna put the stats up here and go over each tool, just how many screws each one of them did on the different batteries. So unlike the octane tools from Rigid, where if you have an octane tool and a octane battery, the tool performs better. The fuel tool and a non-fuel tool, it doesn't matter if you got what battery in it. There's no, supposedly the high output batteries are supposed to be better than the regular batteries, but I got some results on that too that was kind of surprising. So this is the 2462. It's one of the cheapest drivers that they make. It doesn't have the one-handed chuck to put it in. It's got the metal cover across the front. Gets really hot if you're driving a lot of screws in like I was. It got up to 251 degrees, but it's got a real nice little clip. You can clip it right on your belt, or you can put it on your pocket, and it works just fine. So this is the 2551. It's got the same little belt clip on it. The front has a silicone sleeve on it. You can tell it's a good heavy duty tool. It's got the one-handed chuck. Everything about this is a nice quality tool. It's got 3 speeds, and then it's got a sheet metal setting to where whenever it screws in, it'll stop before it strips the screw out. Really good tool. So this is the 2505. It's not an impact driver, but it's definitely a driver. You got your 2 speeds, and you also got the forward and reverse on the top. It's got the one-handed chuck. It doesn't have it's got some metal around the front, but it doesn't have the big metal like the cheaper one. It has a little bit bigger clip, and it's got the magnet on the front, kind of got the little hand shield. So the clip's a little bit bigger, but it does seem to hang pretty good. When you stick it like on your pocket, it's opened up a little bit wider. It's a little bit lighter than the Surge. The Surge is a little bit shorter, more stocky, but it's bigger around, weighs a little bit more. It's about the same as the 2462. They're very similar in length. It just doesn't have the hand shield on. So I ended up with 1.5, 2.0, 2.5 high output, 4.0, and 6.0 batteries. So this is the 2462. You see up here, this is the size batteries. I tested with each tool and the number of screws that each battery put in, and then the number of screws divided by the amp hour rating of the battery. And then here's the tools perform the best with the 4 amp hour battery. However, the high output battery performed better with the non-fuel tool than it did with the fuel tool. So we only got about 50 screws before this thing would go into safety mode and shut itself off, but it still did pretty good. This little driver, it was only 93 decibels, the silentest of all of them. The surge, which is supposed to be half as loud, was 96 decibels, whereas the cheaper M12 was actually 99 decibels. So not quite twice as loud like they claim, but you see all this carnage here. We put in almost, I think it was like 1,400 total screws trying this out. So I like to push tools to the failure point, and that way I can just see what they can do, even if they may not be designed for that. This is an installation tool, like putting up cabinets and putting in an inch, inch and a half screws. This thing isn't really made for a high torque. It's not an impact. As you see here, I've got these 3/8 slag bolts, and this is an old, 8x8, and it just wouldn't even try. As soon as it hit, it just was too much torque, and the tool shut down, which is great because it keeps from damaging the tool. So I said, well, let me try the surge. So, I put the surge on right here, and the surge started going on, looked like it was going to do it, and then it just stopped. I mean, it didn't make about an inch or so in there. And I just, left it on there, beating and beating until it just, the bolt came to a complete stop. So then I grabbed that little cheap one that came in the $79 kit. Now I got a drill, the impact, 2 batteries, and a battery charger for $69. And this little thing here, it kept hitting, and it was putting that screw down. I let it go, and again, these are 3/8 lag bolts. These aren't little small bolts. I would never use a 12-volt tool to try to put in a bolt like this, but this little sucker, it impressed me. So if you need to sync something, the 2462 actually will outperform the surge and the install tool. The install tool is a great tool because it's got all the attachments. The surge, I don't know what the big hype is. When I put it in low, it just like spat, spat, spat. It wasn't even hardly doing anything. It didn't feel like it had 50 pounds of torque. So, I don't know if I just burned it up, was too rough on it, but it's not what I had expected at all. So hopefully this helped you out. If you were like me, not knowing just what the deal was with these M12 tools, it was definitely an eye opener for me. I was expecting the surge to perform a lot better, and I also expected it to perform a lot better with the high output battery, whereas the high output battery performed better with the brush tool than any of the other tools. So if you like this, let me know. If there was something I should have done different, also let me know. Or if there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments because I'm very proactive of trying to follow up with these comments. If you like it, subscribe. And until next time, have a good day.